This is episode 5 of A Little Something from Jason Sims, and number 5's The Charm. Just ask my old friend Lou Bega. A thing I recently learned when I Googled to make sure I had Lou Bega's name right is that Lou Bega is from Germany. I had no idea. I don't know why we didn't talk about that, more back in Mambo number 5 days. Also, I guess I just revealed that Lou Bega is not actually my old friend, or I would have known that about him. So I apologize for that misrepresentation, and I hope you and I can get past this. Look, I'm going to be upfront with you. I've been writing on a version of this episode for well over a week. I have scrapped what I was originally going to do. But if I hadn't, right now I would segue to an audio file that I would claim to have received from the future that was episode 5000 of this very podcast, recorded in some weird far-flung tomorrow. But I realized that one of the main jokes in the thing was too similar to the running gag in the SNL digital short called The Group Hopper. So you should just go watch that on YouTube. So what I'm going to do is just try to knock this thing out, and then I'll probably make myself an old fashioned and get started on a re-binge of The Good Place. It's so good, that TV show, The Good Place. In fact, you should probably be watching that instead of listening to this. Here's what you should do. Go watch that SNL thing on YouTube, then go watch both seasons of The Good Place, and then get back to this. It'll wait. I am sitting in a dark room in an empty house recording this right now. Well, I've got a little dog and 2 cats lurking around here somewhere. But if there are any other humans in this house right now, they're not supposed to be here. And frankly, if they are here and can hear this, I don't want to know they're here. Just keep hiding until you can discreetly show yourself out, please. Can I get real with y'all for a bit? Okay, I think that right there, when I just said, can I get real with y'all for a bit? That's the moment that this podcast either took an uncorrectable nosedive toward failure or transcended the dumb little joke podcast it was intended to be. Only time will tell, but one thing I know for sure is that it happened, and we have to press forward and deal with it. So as I was saying, can I get real with y'all for a bit? The main reason this episode is late is that I frankly haven't had the mental and emotional energy to finish even a 5-minute low-effort podcast like this one. If this podcast continues, each episode will bubble up out of the soup of wherever my life happens to be at the time that it's produced, and gentle listener, that's where my life has been lately. I am fully aware that nothing is more boring and cliche for a dude in his mid-40s to do than to have a midlife crisis. I get it. I don't want to have one, for that very reason, and also because they suck. But here we are. And maybe for some people, their creative endeavors are like the little cherry they're placing on top of the very together hot fudge sundae of their lives. But for me, they're often the gravy on the Salisbury steak I've managed to form together out of the ground, gristly remnants of my hopes and dreams. A real Swanson's Hungry Man portion of disappointment. And I don't want to complain. I have it so good in so many ways. I've just got things happening in my life that are shaking it up, and I'm having to face some decisions that are better, faced by a 23-year-old than a 43-year-old. And not all the things that are happening are even bad, and even the tragedies are pretty ordinary. It's like Elvis sang, there's malice and there's magic in every season. And that was the Radio Elvis, not the All Shook Up Elvis, just to clarify. That's a lyric from Elvis Costello's The Other Side of Summer. It's on Mighty Like a Rose. Look, just go listen to it. But after you watch the SNL video and The Good Place, and after you finish up this episode of this podcast, because, you've already come this far through it. So, speaking of this podcast, some folks have said some real nice things about the podcast, and they've shared it, and they've rated it, and reviewed it. And to you folks who have done that, I say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's nice when people let you know that they like what you do. So that's what I ask of you today. After you watch that SNL video and The Good Place, and listen to this podcast, and listen to the song The Other Side of Summer by Elvis Costello, after you do all that, go find someone who's done something that you like and tell them that they did good. Or go find someone who's fighting a battle and they're not giving up. Find them and tell them you're proud of them. You might as well go tell that to the mirror while you're at it, because you're still here, and I presume, trying. We all have a shot. It's a weird episode. At least you didn't have to hear me use some sort of fake old man voice and talk about made up future stuff that you weren't meant to understand. I would have talked like this and mentioned the before times and the miracle machines and the falling of the shadow and crap like that. So count yourselves lucky, younglings. I'm done talking now.